Hello my friends, and welcome back. We're going to take a look at the latest GNOME desktop. This one jumps up from the past 3.0 version to GNOME number 40 using Fedora Beta. Let's take a quick look at this from a previously recorded session. Alright, so this is the live USB that I ran this recording on. You can run this all, you can try Fedora with a live USB or install it as it says here. Now, one thing I noticed about this, if you look here at the top right of the panel, and here where it just crashed, started again, this hasn't changed. This never made sense to me. No matter which icon shortcut you choose at the top, it goes down to a set of shortcuts versus that particular setting. And it never quite made sense to me. We have a change in the workspaces. It looks like they've gone to a horizontal type of setup here versus a vertical setup. This can be both good and bad. This takes more real estate from top to bottom, as you see, and that's when it crashed again. I had to install the recording app. It's just called Rec App from the Software Center. Anyway, they've changed the workspaces from a vertical to a horizontal, and this is going to take more space. Now, if you're on a big screen, like a big TV or a large screen, it won't make any difference. If you're using a laptop, well, that can possibly present a potential problem where you have to, squeeze everything in. The favorites has been moved to the bottom. I prefer it to the left, just a personal preference. The amount of software that is installed and the type of software that is installed is sufficient for you to get started. You can hit the super key and go back and forth. That's great. There is a search bar at the top. So this here, the use of the standard use of colors, icons has been changed. So here we have the activities, the open windows. This looks great, by the way. Again, you can just hit the super key or just click the activities tab to the top left. And again, the file manager here. Again, the light theme may not be for everybody. You can certainly change that in Linux. I thought the default theme looks fine. Again, the shortcuts at the top right to me never made any sense. If I click the sound icon, I want to go straight to the sound menu and not to the total settings menu as you see here. It's kind of like hitting channel 2 in your remote, and instead of going to channel 2, it brings up all the channels, and then you choose channel 2 again, if that makes any sense. So this is... the GNOME desktop is not something I can use because it just takes too much fiddling. I can certainly do it to make it user-friendly, but this is 2021. It should be more user-friendly out of the box, at least for myself, from the eyes of a Windows/Linux user. Right-click on the desktop, the usual selection of wallpapers. I won't go into much of this here. The wallpapers are fine, so I think I change it to something more colorful. That does look nice, but I prefer summer. I'm ready to hit the pool. Right-clicking does not give you many choices here on the desktop. You can't create a document. You can't go straight to the terminal. This remains non or less user-friendly as it did with the inception of the modern GNOME desktop 10 years ago. Remember, the GNOME desktop you see today has been a work in progress since 2011. And it's been kind of disappointing. It's still not quite as user-friendly. Anyway, the usual LibreOffice suite as we see here, very good. I use this not quite a bit, but enough. So I ran a test here, and I wanted to show you this because this also never made any sense to me. So we're going to call this Untitled1 document. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. Because sometimes I like to have stuff on my desktop and then save it to a file or drag it to a file folder later from the desktop. Pretty simple stuff. This has been around in Linux for years, Windows and all that. No big deal. So untitled document number 2. Once again, I'm going to save this to my desktop because, well, that's how I want it and that's what it says. Plain English, right? I'm going to save it to my desktop. So let's go ahead and go to my desktop, and it's not there. So, yeah, this is something I remember from 10 years ago. It didn't make any sense. And 10 years later, it still doesn't make any sense. So if I say something to a piece of real estate on my computer, I expect it to be there. In this case, I wanted to save 2 documents to my desktop. I know you can install extensions and hope that they work and this and that. By the way, looking at the system monitor, GNOME 40 is on a diet. Almost 3 gigs of RAM usage doing this. Hey, at least they're losing weight, right? As far as the software center goes, it's perfectly fine. What you see here, again, this, yeah, to my eyes, no problem here. Easy to navigate through. Editor's pick, recommendations. I did install Audacity. It would not launch, but that's okay. This is still a beta, so it's no big deal because I'm never going to use this anyway. But that being said, GNOME 40 looks terrific. The set of icons, the colors, all the default settings coming out of the install or coming out of the the USB live test of this, I think it looks fantastic. So looks and aesthetics of GNOME 40 has never been an issue. User friendliness and I dare say common sense seems to be an issue, at least from what I see. There is a revamped weather app. I think it looks much better. You can go hourly, data, multiple days ahead forecast. I actually like this. Finally, a much better step in the right direction for a weather application. I still prefer the weather app in the Mate desktop. That's why Ubuntu Mate is still my Linux gold standard, and the reason being I don't have to install anything else, any extensions to make it more functionable, if that makes any sense. Now here you can drag and drop, shortcuts and this and that, and that's fine. This is definitely user friendly. So again, in terms of the aesthetics and how it looks, I have no problems with this. It's one of the nicest looking desktops you'll ever play with. It's just 10 years later, I still can't use it. It's not like I don't know how to make this more friendly. I do, but why should I go through the extra work when I can install Linux Mint, Zorn, Ubuntu Mate, or something else, and it's ready to go out of the box without the use of extensions which could possibly break the system. And I don't think it's just me, but I just find this very annoying. So yeah, 10 years later, and this still cracks me up. I want to drag it to my desktop, damn it, and I can't. Anyway, just a little rant there, so forgive me for that. So for what it's worth, GNOME 40, I still can't use it. I'm going to stick with my Linux gold standard Ubuntu Mate. Take care.